If the road were easy, everyone would take it. We don't shy away from challenges. We dive in. And now, live from an undisclosed location in FEMA Region 10, it's your host, Joshua Michael.
All right, welcome, folks. Joshua Michael, Not Compliant America. Thank you very much for joining me. Today is a jam-packed show. I've been very absent. Not only did I lose my voice earlier from the last show, some bug going around that they're spraying us with and all this crap, but you know what? We will persevere through this turmoil that we're going through. We got some breaking news today, lots and lots and lots on the special Sunday broadcast. We called it. We all know it. Joe Biden is now officially said that he will not run another term. He is done. Not only is he obliterated politically, but he's also politically and cognitively destroyed. I doubt he even wrote this letter. As you know, he doesn't even know what's going on. He doesn't even know what time it is. So I want to get into that. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the Trump news. I want to talk about the Trump assassination attempt. Right on the heels of my show last week, virtually, because I pre-recorded earlier that day, Trump got shot shortly a few hours after that, and all that turmoil goes. So I want to break into that, talk about a second shooter, and the anomalies associated with it, the lack of cooperation from the FBI and the Secret Service. Looks like the Secret Service agent Cheadle is going to be stepping down. The word is tomorrow, which would be Monday. And there's just a lot of news, but let's get into it, right? So I'm going to read this from Blubbering Biden. He says, over the past 3.5 years, we've made great progress as a nation being the World Economic Forum, a nation being the United Nations, a nation being everything that you can think of to destroy this American system. If he regards to that, understand that's the people he works for. He's not talking about the United States of America. Otherwise, he would say the United States of America. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. Bullcrap. We made historical investments in rebuilding our nation. That's to build the infrastructure for the power grid and the control grid that they're trying to put in like they have in China. Yes, if you are referring to that, that is absolutely the case. In lowering prescription drug costs, they might have lowered the cost, but you can't get them because the pharmacies don't have the manufacturing because the infrastructure is being decimated. We've provided critical need care to millions of veterans exposed to toxic substances, aka giving them drugs. And just like in Oregon, how they had free drug use for everybody else. If it's like that, okay, yeah, right. This letter itself we could talk about for hours because it's all gaslighting BS, and we all know what it is. And if you're listening to the show, you know what it is too, and you know what and how the tides are turning now. So I want to get into that. I want to talk about Trump's RNC speech, which was amazing and incredible. I want to get your feedback, what you thought about it. I want to talk about the new Republican Party and how we are transforming and rooting out these rhinos and these blue blood Republicans from all over. I want to talk about the blue blood rhino Republicans, aka just because you have an R next to your name doesn't mean you're for America. Just because you say certain things like you're for this country or for this state, you are not necessarily the case. I want to talk about a case and a couple cases that are ongoing right now that are direct attacks to the Oregon Republican Party from the grifter wannabe cutouts for looking out and creating more divide within this country and also this state. So we have some very, very, very key intel with that, which I want to get into. So he passed the first gun safety law in 30 years. He says significant climate legislation in history of the world. Climate equals destruction of the nation. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. Meanwhile, all of the world leaders don't take him seriously. Some people won't even see him. They don't even answer his calls because they don't care. They know that this country is in a very bad situation. But also, I think with the political clout and the political climate of what's happened to Trump himself, he's virtually unstoppable if he can stay alive. Now, this is a small victory in some regards, but let's not all go kumbaya and get caught back into our echo chambers thinking we got this in the bag. These are some very, very, very dangerous people. They're willing to kill populations. They're willing to kill bloodlines and destroy anything and everything that they can to stay in power. And one of those main people is Hillary Clinton. Okay? And we're going to get into that. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. I know none of this could have been done without you. The American people together have overcame a once-century pandemic and the worst economy crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. Yeah, we all know this is all BS, but what do we take from this? It's been the greatest honor of my life to serve as president. You know the guy didn't write this. He doesn't even talk like this. It's really interesting how they're trying to be very statesman-like in this. I'll speak to the nation later this week in more details about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude. Those have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Camel Toe Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. Let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. Such interesting. I believe today I have always had, and there's nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America. So there he goes. He mentions the United States of America. But what does that mean? Joe Biden's out. He's gone. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? So I want to talk about this. There's rumblings right now that Hillary Clinton is going to be running, and they're going to install her at the DNC event coming up in August. I personally believe, I know I've been saying Big Mike for a long time, but that was before the assassination attempt. They were planning on Trump being gone right now. And the fact that he merely dodged a bullet and cheated death in the sense that got extremely lucky. There's nothing more prolific than what happened. And I want to unpack that, what that means. They're going to try it again. There's an interesting report that Greg Reese did that I'm going to play on the next segment, or maybe it's Darren McBreen, that talks about the assassination attempt of JFK. It was not the first assassination attempt. And they also had another one planned after Dallas if it didn't work. So it's a really interesting report, and it breaks down a lot of information. We are in the most dangerous times this country has ever seen. We are on the brink of collapse and going one of two ways. We can go Trump's America, where we have prosperity. Yes, it's still going to be hard. Yes, they're still going to crash the economy. Yes, they're still going to disrupt the cyber infrastructure. I want to talk about the CrowdStrike stuff on the last segment and kind of go into details what I think that means and what it signifies, and also the what the tech guys are saying this bug actually did, and what it's also opening up our infrastructure vulnerabilities for even further for what I think is a giant cyber collapse right before the election. That's going to be one of their red herrings. That's going to be their black swan. That's going to be what they need in order to steal this election. They can create something in disarray and get us in disarray and completely the carpet ripped out from under us. And I think that's going to be economic, where we're already seeing banking runs. We saw that people couldn't get money out of the banks because the CrowdStrike thing, the bank systems crashed, the airport systems crashed, all of these things crashed. And I'm going to get into it later. I don't want to get into it. There's so much going on, folks. It's fascinating. So let's talk about what I think. Hillary Clinton, she is on the back burner. She's coming in. She's going to ride in on this black horse and try to save the republic. How do you think that that's going to go? Do you think that's a possibility? Do you think that she's going to do that? And here's why I think it's going to be her. One, she's very arrogant, super confident, thinks that she can do anything, and more importantly, her title supposedly has been ripped out from under her. Therefore, she has a bone to pick, and I think politically that the Democrats might get behind her because of that very reason. Because keep in mind, they're emotional. They don't care about anybody but Donald Trump. Now, that's not working very well. Big Mike, I don't think Michelle Obama is not going to step in at this point because of the assassination attempt. Had the assassination attempt not happened, I believe that they had Big Mike primed up and ready. But why that's changed and why I think it's changed, only because the way the Obamas work, the way that they operate, is they're not going to go into a firing squad to that degree and try to take on the absolutely steamrolled Trump train that is roaring in, and I think it's unstoppable. He's polling, so high in all the states. All of his points went up. Everybody thinks he's a badass because he is, and just all of that. So I don't think that the Obamas are going to get in the middle of that, only because they care about their reputation so much, and it'd be detrimental for them, for their political aspirations for the future, if they were to lose. And I think it's too high of a volatility. It's too high of a risk, a calculated risk. They're not going to make that move. They're going to try to find somebody that they can collaborate with and stay in the shadows, because keep in mind, this isn't the Biden administration. This is the Biden administration. Obama's been working in the back. As you know, when he left office in Washington, D.C., he bought a bunker less than a mile from the White House, and he's been living there, and he's still there because they have all the stay-behind networks still there that he's operating and managing through that. So emergency broadcast today in regards to what's going on in the state of the world. Again, I can't emphasize enough, we are in one of the most dire times of the most vulnerable states. They are going to make their attempt on Trump, hands down. And if they do that, then they're going to try to put Hillary Clinton in. They're going to shut down the power grid. They're going to shut down the economy and all this stuff. I can't express it enough. We need to be very, very frosty right now. And we need to be on high alert. Get your cameras out. We see how valuable it is to have cameras and get footage of everything. I'm going to play some footage in a little bit on the next segment in regards to the attempted Trump assassination and some of the anomalies tied out with it, how they're seeing a reported second shooter on the water tower. We now have footage that they were able to get a couple screenshots and a couple frames where you can actually see a black rifle gunman on top of the water tower. And how that lines up with the trajectories of some of the bullets, and where they went, why we have three different sounding weapons on this attempted assassination, and everything else. Also, I want to talk about the stand down with the Secret Service and how they played a part. The Secret Service is now admitting that they didn't have actual Secret Service agents protecting him, which is why we had those weird DEI women guarding the president. I mean, there are so many anomalies around this, but rest assured, this is not the end of everything. We don't have this in the bag. They have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. They're already priming us for the bird flu. The CrowdStrike, I think, line things out in order for us to be very vulnerable in the cyber systems. And so there's a lot to be done. And I think a lot of these corporations are on board. Just like they pay off the farmers to give off their food and not grow their crop in exchange for money, I think money plays a big part in this. They're letting these corporations, get into things like CrowdStrike and be vulnerable in return for payoff. Because what's the end goal? The end goal is to bring the United States to its knees and get us to a point where we can't be a contender in this new global system. They can't have an operating superpower with the most heavily armed population on the planet. They can't have that in operation and in good standing with the moral high ground on this next wave of this attempted coup takeover. Will they be successful? Will they be successful? That really comes down to you and your ability to understand this information, digest it in its entirety, and know where your role is going to be played in this war that we are in. You're listening to Joshua Michael, Noncompliant America. and we will be right back with the Trump assassination breakdown after this. Welcome back, folks. Lots and lots and lots of news breaking today. Holy crap. Get on and hang on to your seats, folks. But first, let's play this beautiful sound in this rendition. This was played following Trump's speech at the RNC in an English version. It's beautiful.
See all those bright stars at dawn.
That's right, folks. If you could get the grasp and understand, we are in a war. We are in a war for this country, a war for the future, a war for the sovereignty of this nation and the sanctity and sanctuary that everything that our ancestors have fought and died for, we are in that war right now, and you are a part of it, and now is the time to get involved more now than ever. The best way to get involved, start speaking to your friends and family. I tell you every single week, that is the number one priority. Preserve and get prepared yourself. Because even though politically we're moving in the right direction and a lot of things are coming out, a lot of things are getting exposed, a lot of things are happening, but understand in this game, this is why we have Biden stepping down and making this announcement right now. This is why we had the CrowdStrike outages immediately following the RNC. I have people that were on the ground at the RNC, and they said it was one of the most beautiful and uplifting, motivational events that they've ever been to, ever, in this whole life of politics. Because we are winning in regards to winning the hearts and minds of the people. People are rejecting the Democratic Party in droves in every single way. And so here's, if you can take a step back and understand, we are in the war. And what is the war? It's the power of the hearts and minds of people. It's the political court of public opinion. They're trying to push things kinetic, which is why they're trying to incite violence, which is why they're saying that white people are the number one terror threat for the United States, and Christians and soccer moms and stuff like that. We've seen all of that. What this means is that we are winning in this sense, but it also explains why they're having these political cycles and these media cycle distractions to distract from some key intel that's coming out in regards to the attempted Trump assassination. They want to overdo the spotlight. They want to change the narrative. They want to get us talking about a bunch of crap. We all knew Joe Biden was going to step down. We all knew it. So why are we, the bigger question, who are they going to put in? Okay, yeah, we could talk about that. But let's not lose sight of the fact. Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, FBI, all the usual suspects, all of them are now and we're in a direct collaboration to try to take out our president of the United States. Let's not forget that. Don't sweep this under the rug, because rest assured, if we forget about it and we take the thumb off the scale, if we stop giving them pressure and keep digging and keep digging and keep digging until we get answers, it's going to get swept under the rug, and they're going to try it again. Because guess what? We're all going to be talking about Joe Biden. We're all going to be talking about Hitlery or Killery or whatever you want to call her. Let's not get distracted on that. So in this thing, there's a lot of stuff coming out in regards to a second shooter. Nobody's wanting to talk about it in the mainstream except Senator Josh Hawley. He had a good message the other day. He was talking about it, and take a listen real quick.
I saw it today ahead of the Senate committee hearings on this. I went to go see myself. I went to the grounds. I went to the site because, frankly, I don't trust the FBI and the Secret Service to give us the real story. I want to see it myself. That roof, it's hardly pitched at all. It's at a slight slant. I couldn't believe how close it is to where Trump was. I stood right where Trump stood looked over at that building. I mean, it is 100, 150 yards max. It is a clear line of sight from where President Trump was to that building. And the whistleblowers, Sean, what they have told me is unbelievable. It's that they were not patrolling the perimeter with canines as they were supposed to do. They were not patrolling the crowd. They weren't adequately keeping the area around the stage safe. And having been there today myself, I can tell you that building where the shooter fired from is so close to where Trump was. The idea that you could have all of this time elapse and nobody notices, no law enforcement notices he's on the roof. Whistleblowers tell me that law enforcement were actually on different channels, different radio communication channels. There were multiple different channels and they weren't coordinated. Today, Sean, when I went to the site, the FBI has got more security on that site now than they did the night that Trump was shot at. And they're trying to control the information. Sean, they tried to kick me off of the site. They said, get out of here. You shouldn't be on the site. We don't want you here.
Get out of here?
They are trying to control the information. Here? Absolutely. They brought local cops, Sean. Get this. I'm there on site. I had permission from the local security operator to be there, and the FBI came out and said, you have got to leave. We do not want you here.
Wow, folks. So that's a powerful report. Josh Hawley really taking them to the cleaners and trying to expose this thing for what it really is. Let's understand also, I wish I could show you guys some video footage right now. We're working on doing some more video stuff. I'm waiting for a little bit more equipment to come in. But Johnny Midnight, if you look on my Twitter right now, they have an ungrained footage of some little blips of somebody in black tactical gear on top of the water tower. On top of the water tower. Okay, cool. So we have that. We got the water tower footage, which is amazing because the trajectory of some of the bullets that killed and hit some of those patrons, you can see the trajectory came right from the water tower. Now, I know there's some great reports showing an analysis of, is this one shooter? But if you listen to the audio, there are multiple weapons. A lot of people say it's Secret Service or the guys on the roof, everything else. But if you look at the trajectory where the water tower was, it shoots right through where the Secret Service guys were, where they were positioned. There's no way that the single shooter narrative could have happened. And that would explain why they were off kilter and why after the gunshots happened, they jumped back. They didn't jump back because they were scared of the gunfire. They were actually getting fired at. And if you look at the trajectory of where that was going, the bullet actually whisked through them. They were getting shot at. And then from there, the projections from the water tower actually goes to the people in the bleachers. So there's a lot more to this story, folks, but we have to keep pressing the attack and keep focusing on it. I got one more report I want to play by Greg Reeves. Then I want to talk about CrowdStrike, and we'll be right back.
It's time to unmask the truth and expose the lies. The occupied forces do not want you to hear this broadcast. Breaking through the censorship and delivering raw, unedited content, it's Joshua Michael with Non-Compliant America.
All right, folks, these are the times that try men's souls. These are the times that determine who you are going to be. If you ever wonder and look back of how people acted and you read in the history books and, hey, if I was in that position, how would I have acted? Who would I have been in the Holocaust? What side of the fence would I have been on? Now is the time where you're making that decision because we are in an extremely altering position of the country and, for that fact, that account, the world. Lots of breaking news, lots of things. The internet is absolutely blowing up right now in regards to this predicted Biden thing. And everybody's thinking it's like some news that is really worthy, and it is, right? It's showing, it's demonstrating, they're giving us a victory, right? It's a controlled retreat right before they make their attack. So what is the next move? Because basically the Democrats are dead. The Democratic Party is absolutely decimated. And how are they going to overturn the scales? Because again, as we were talking about on the last segment, the way that these people work is it's all through stories and media. Media is the stronghold for the Democratic Party, and we've broken and penetrated through that with the help of President Trump and each and every single individual that is fighting back through what I think on the real global space that we all need, which is Twitter, and that is penetrating their barricade that they have up and allowing us to transfer and have real conversations and real information. I'm telling you right now, live on X, Biden drops out of 2024 race. There's a live X right now. Breaking, Biden drops out and endorses Harris with Rep. Mace and Andrew Tate. Breaking, Joe Biden drops out, endorses Kamala with Rep. Nancy Mace. Breaking, Joe Biden out. All these things, all these conversations. But keep in mind, all of this is to distract from the fact that literally less than a little bit more than a week ago, there was an attempted assassination on our 47th president of the United States who gets 60, 70, 80, 100,000 people at his rallies. He's completely overturning the chessboard in regards to all the narratives of everything that everybody says about him. All of that's going out the window. He's winning the hearts and minds of the people. He's winning the hearts and minds of women, young people, Hispanics, black people. Everybody is now deciding and figuring out, hey, wait a minute. Everything that we've been told about this guy is not true. It's not true. We kind of like him. And you know what? Life was a hell of a lot better when he was in office. And you know what? He makes sense when he's talking about fighting back against these countries that are destroying us economically, that are spiritually indoctrinating our kids, getting them on these transgender confusion narratives and just completely warping and upending their minds. That is all a weapon of war because we are in a war. So we are now fighting back. Some people are beginning to realize the political landscape that we're actually in, with all the landmines around and how we're being attacked and bombarded and kamikazed in so many different ways. And this is simply just a mechanism. This is a tactic. This is a strategic weapon that is used and meant to distract us from a political assassination attempt by the Biden administration and whomever their cronies are. They tried to take out the president, which is why they were so confidently going in the direction that they were going. Now, before I play this Greg Reese report, check this out. This is broke about 12 hours ago. The cover-up, the inside job to assassinate President Trump continues. The Department of Homeland Security, under DHS Secretary Mayorkas, Alejandro, has denied a FOIA request. This is interesting. They've denied a FOIA request that pertains to the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Mayorkas controls the Secret Service resources and has denied requests made by the Trump campaign for more security resources over the last 2 years. So there's point one. The most shocking part of the FOIA request denial letter is below and highlighted in the yellow area. I'm going to read it to you. It's highlighted. Please be advised, your request has been denied because you do not qualify under either category. You have not demonstrated that there is a threat to the life or the physical safety of an individual, nor have you demonstrated there is a particular urgency to inform the public about the government activity involved in this request, beyond the public's right to know about government activities in general. Unreal. So check this out. According to their FOIA request denial letter, DHS thinks Donald Trump almost being assassinated live on TV isn't a threat to life or physical safety of an individual or of a particular urgency to inform the public. What do you think about that? I say we all do FOIA requests. I say we all push forward. I say we all, but this is a prime example of these three-letter agencies and these organizations and nonprofits and all these people that are running outside of government, which have no oversight, and they're just saying, nah, F you. I'm not going to give you that. We're not going to give you any of that information. Is it going to be one of those things like the JFK files where they're supposed to be unsealed after 50 years and they've been resealed by George W. They were resealed by Obama. And then Trump comes along and virtually unseals, I think about 60, 70, maybe 80% now, has been unsealed in regards to that, where we find out who was really behind it, how the things still were. Supposedly there's people associated with it that are still alive, which is why their excuse of not unsealing it, even though it's a law, you're supposed to unseal after 50 years. We're supposed to get all that information. We're supposed to have all of that information. So let's get into the second shooter anomaly and talk about it now. This is an older video. As you know, news is breaking by the minute. And if you are not on X, if you are not following me at Noncompliant AF, that's at Noncompliant AF. Y'all know what the AF stands for, because guess what? That's what it is. And that's what you got to do. You have to be relentless. You have to get away and shed any of the pressures on doing what's right, being what's right. You're going to get demonized. You're going to get attacked. You're going to have flack. We've all made sacrifices. Rest assured, me speaking to you on this show has created a lot of turmoil in my life. But there's no other pathway, there's no other better place than I'd rather be than here delivering this message to you and talking to you. It is worth it. We all have to make our own sacrifices. We all have to make our own sacrifices. That's how we preserve this country. That's what it takes. For so long, so many of you have been scared to actually get your butts into the arena and actually take some flack, have some turmoil, have some issues, get through it just to do what's right. Because that's what we have to do, is what's right. We have to do this for our families. We have to do this for our futures. We have to do this for our kids. We have to do it for our sanity, our moral compass. What side of the spectrum are we on? Too long, too many people have been too freaking soft. And I'm talking to you, Oregon. So many of you Republicans are pathetic, and you need to step up and realize you're not going to have all the milquetoast Republicans on board with you. They're not going to like you. They're not going to be your friend. They're going to try to disrupt you. They're going to try to destroy you. They're going to talk bad about you. It's going to be uncomfortable in the room, but you got to do it. That's what we need right now. And if you are not at that level of intensity right now, if you are not feeling that certain way right now in the most dire time of our country and of our futures, then you do not deserve any support or any dollars at all. And you need to gracefully walk over to the beach right now and stick your head in the sand, because you're not doing anything for anybody. You're a grifter. We don't respect you. The new Republican Party does not want you. We don't want your crap. We don't want your nonsense. We don't want your games that you're playing, because we know you don't like people like me, because we point this out. We see you. And guess what? We talk about it. And we expose you for who you really are. And on this next segment, I'm going to get into some of these people that have literally sued the Oregon Republican Party and the Republican National Convention less than 36 hours after President Trump was shot. Also, why most people were at the RNC convention or getting ready to go, these grifters in the state of Oregon are going after the good men and women at the Oregon Republican Party and the RNC. And we're going to get into this case and what this means. But these people, these predators, have shown their hand. They've attacked me. They've attacked everybody and anybody that's just trying to do good and preserve this Republican Party. But so many times they get under attack. They're attacking all the good men and women that are just simply trying to do the right thing. These stay-behind networks, these career politicians that take all your money, all your donations, they take your data. Constitutional carry. Yeah, like that's ever going to get passed in the state of Oregon. But guess what? They got your information now, and they got your money. Nothing came of it, right? Nothing came of it. What came of it? Call me a liar. Call me wrong. Call me wrong. These are the people that we're up against, and you got to get in the fight, and you got to be involved, and you got to understand that they're not going to go away. They're like ticks. They're like little rats. If you put the garbage outside, eventually they're going to show up. So you got to throw that away. Throw it in the trash. Be right back.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us lacking. Me and my buddy, we working hard for this money.
Drop. Now when I make a CD, my name was Slop. If I rap, shoot my beats and stop. Step from the game.
All right, I got a little fired up. I'm just getting sick of this stuff. I'm sick of having these conversations and just seeing things go nowhere. I'm seeing, there is so much good political momentum happening for the Republican Party right now. We should have a red wave on all counties, on all states, at all statewide, citywide, countywide, and nationwide events because the Democratic Party is dead right now. The only thing they have in their corner is their power. And they've had it for so long. They've set up so many infrastructure systems for this moment. They've manufactured the hamster wheel to where we all jump on it and we run and we're like, okay, we're going to get somewhere. Yeah, buddy. Woo. We're all in this together. We're going to make it. We're going to get there. Hey, nice to see you, Rob. Yeah, are you on the winning wheel? Yeah, we're on the winning wheel. Meanwhile, we're not going anywhere. Nothing's happening because you're not actually in the fight. Because you got to pull your head out of your ass and realize the actual fight that we're in. And right now, it's all being distracted by this Joe Biden dropout. But let's not forget about the assassination attempt that happened. And who's behind it? It was not a lone gunman on a slanted roof. That's a perfect patsy. Think of Paddock at the Vegas shooting. Timothy McVeigh. Right before he died. He's on camera. I'm being set up. This wasn't me. A couple days later, he's dead. Osama bin Laden. Ooh, big scary boogeyman who has direct connections to the Bush administration. He was the perfect patsy. You think some guy in a cave organized the Twin Tower, the most sophisticated attack on the United States ever? Come on, man. Meanwhile, there was a NATO exercise in 1997 that actually did it. Yeah, we've seen this before. They're doing it in front of us, folks, but we're not. We're in the fourth turning now. The world's awake. The world's awake. These guys are done, which is why we're in the most devastating, dire times, because they know we're awake. We know we're awake, and now we're coming after them politically, non-violently. We want health and happiness for all these people. We don't want any political violence to happen to any of these people because we are winning through the courts of public opinion and the hearts and minds of people. I can't stress it enough. Okay, so let's get into this Greg Reese report, and then I want to talk about CrowdStrike. And yeah, folks, it's on. So the shot heard around the world was the kickoff to the new Republican Party. And now people are starting to be galvanized, and they understand, hey, we can't just sit around and click likes on Twitter and think that we're making a difference. We got to get out there. We got to get in these people's faces. We need to do what Laura Loomer does to everybody and expose them. Use your phone. Get on X. If you are not on X right now, you are losing. You're a loser. Delete your Facebook. Deactivate it. Get off Instagram. Get off TikTok. Get off all of these things and get on X. X is the platform for the future. Now that Elon Musk is on board, he's devout $45 million a month he's going to commit to the Trump administration PAC or some Republican PAC. That's $180 million. He is on board. He's the freaking owner. He's the CEO. It's unbelievable. That's what we need. We need somebody who understands. And Elon is the only person that understands. You guys see the Zuckerberg interview? Somebody texted to me the other day and they're like, oh, what do you think about this? He's a Trump supporter now. Zuckerberg is trying to mimic Elon. Zuckerberg is the guy that gave hundreds of millions of data points to the DNC last election cycle. Zuckerberg is the one that donates money to the DNC. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's trying to humanize himself and appeal to the public because the entire agenda and the narrative and the control that they have is going away. And I'm telling you, the successes, why you're having the successes that we're having politically is because of X. And if you don't understand that, then I can't help you. The successes that we're having is the ability to speak, the ability to have conversations, the ability to spread information. They can't stop it. Elon devoted to get rid of CrowdStrike. He said he's deleting CrowdStrike of everything, and so he's preserving himself. Twitter didn't go down. Twitter did not go down. And so that's the war that we're in. Here's my prediction with CrowdStrike. Mike Adams is about to produce a report. He talked to the Google whistleblower, Zach Voorhees, who actually did the C++ coding for Google. He was the whistleblower that exposed a bunch of anomalies within Google. He's about to release a report tomorrow talking about what the CrowdStrike anomaly, which was an anomaly, but what the CrowdStrike virus actually did to the systems and what it's doing, and primed the way that it opened up a portal for these new systems to be vulnerable in the future. And what have we been talking about? The cyber blackouts, the outages, power grid blackouts, cell phone crashes, pure pandemonium, because these guys are not going to give up power. So let's play a special report real quick, and then we'll close it out.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole.
Power outages, they blame on the Russians. Cyber attacks, they're going to go for broke. We are on the edge of the minute you see Trump hit the ground, the false flags, the power outages, the cyber attacks.
I want to get back to the global computer outage, which is affecting folks across the world right now.
But there's a black eye moment for CrowdStrike, and I'd say for the cybersecurity sector. Now, the damage, look, it's going to be weeks, months, potentially years in terms of understanding the damage. The big issue is the brand damage, because CrowdStrike today becomes a household name, but not in a good way.
According to your statement, it was a single content update that has managed to shut down air travel, credit card payment systems, banks, broadcasts, street lights, 911, emergency around the globe. Why is there not some kind of redundancy or some sort of backup? How is it that one single software bug can have such a profound and immediate impact?
All right, so there's more to this report. I'm going to post it on my X page as well as the actual podcast today, because this is a very powerful moment. And as you know, last week's show, we talked about the AT&T. It was actually a couple weeks ago. I just posted it because I forgot to upload it. But we're talking about the AT&T data breach. So how is all this stuff happening? How is what they're trying to do, and I will say it till the wheels fall off, what they're trying to do is prime you to this new boogeyman. Now, this is what they did with COVID. This is what they did with, leading up to it with all the movies and the fanfare and all the hype and everything else of this virus taking over the world, blah, 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 blah. So they're using the fear and now priming a new boogeyman, which is a cyber threat. But it's a real threat because we have all these centralized systems. Everybody's trying to centralize systems. This is why decentralization, non-compliance is the key to this equation. You know one country that wasn't affected by CrowdStrike? Russia. The evil Russia. Guess what? They were forced to do different systems because of all the pressures that the United States puts on with their sanctions and all their BS. It's caused them to be independent. Independence is key to this next phase that we're going in. Decentralize, stay frosty, folks, and as always, watch your six. You're listening to Non-Compliant America. Good night.